Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. My name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours here, and we start off at Tau with a rather large elephant having a jolly good scratch. That is an excellent stump he's found there to get right into those crevices. Let's see if he's going to reverse up and do some scratching underneath his tummy there. Oh, that actually looks really good. I've watched elephants before and they find a log or a tree or something like this and they really get into it and they're having a good scratch, and then suddenly the log or the tree snaps and you can see them sort of go, oh, how very disappointing. But this looks like a nice solid stump he's found, and it looks like it may have been used before. Hello Ellie, thanks for joining us. Hello Grin, hello Kelly, nice to be with you here again today. Welcome on this lovely Sunday afternoon. So please all remember we are live, we are interactive. It's deeply important to me that you all send your questions through, your comments. Let me know your thoughts on anything we are watching, or indeed anything you have watched before. He's really getting the job done here. Mr. Elemental, excellent name. Good evening everyone watching from Windy Harbour, Western Australia. Welcome from Australia. It's amazing that we are able to share this with everyone from all over the world. I do normally say good afternoon or good morning or good evening, depending on your time zone, but this elephant is getting all of these. Oh, let's do the elbow. And is he going to get right up under that belly there? Yes. I definitely think this elephant has used this log before. He knows exactly how to get to all those tricky to reach places. Anyone listening from my homeland of England, welcome to the show, and a happy Mother's Day. I know it is Mother's Day there in England, so happy Mother's Day, whether you be mothers or grandmothers or pet mothers. Happy Mother's Day. So remember to send your questions through to us. We are happy to hear from all of you. And all the mothers out there, thank you for all you do. Speaking of mothers, I have some homework I would like to submit that was set yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but someone did ask. Average number of calves a female rhino would have in a lifetime. And after doing some very loose maths in my head, I think I concluded around about 10 to 15 and then stuck at 10. And I was pretty close. I did the maths properly. I checked female white rhinos, or female southern white rhinos, reach sexual maturity between about 6 and 7. They have a calf roughly every 3 years, roughly. Someone actually said this morning, and I hadn't thought of it this way before, a weaning time for animals is often similar to a gestation period. Wow, this elephant's really getting in there today. Getting all those bits covered. So they roughly have so white rhinos are pregnant around about 16 to 17 months. They have a calf roughly every 3 years. Their lifespan is roughly about 40. They are reproductive to pretty much the end of their lifespan, as are many animals. So if you do the maths, sexual maturity at 7, a calf every 3 years, roughly, adds up to 10 to the age of 36, which is on the nose. So thank you very much for your questions, and I'm glad I wasn't a million miles away from my semi-guess. Lovely little group of springbok walking past in the distance there. Let's just enjoy these beautiful sounds, and it looks like Mr. Elephant is done. Don't go and disrupt everyone. See, this could be a interesting interaction here. See, look, he's bothering everyone. But see this group coming in from the back now. That little one having a drink. This is a new family group arriving. Let's see if this one that's currently drinking makes way. See them coming in, lots of that red sand, red soil on them. The group that's leaving are covered in grey mud. I'm sure everyone will rotate with excellent manners. This boy is continuing to disrupt everyone. Oh, there's another group coming in there, further to the left of the screen. Oh, there's a big group coming in. Look how elephants often quicken their step as they get closer to water. They've all gone in. And are they gonna, is this new family group gonna also make these guys move? Or are they gonna go further over to the, are they gonna cross behind them and carry on along the water line there? Look at the little ones running. Oh, are they going to share? Yeah, they're all going to bundle in there. That's a little bit unusual. Well, no one's going to be drinking out of. No one's going to be drinking out of that part. That's considerably muddied that water there. And this other oakie is indeed deep in there. Look at those little ones. Gina Biddle, yes, a fabulous way to start the show today, with that big bull having a nice hard scratch. And there is some jolly happy elephants paddling here. And interesting, the two groups all got in there together. This is the side we drink at. This is where we're drinking. And then how polite that everyone went across to the other section for a paddle. That's almost like the grown-ups are along the back and all the kids are at the front. Brati, yes. That is a lot of elephants in the mud. Oh, are the zebra going to come join in? Come get involved? These two are drinking out of that bit. Elephants do prefer clean water, if they've got an option. So I'm almost surprised they're drinking out of that bit and haven't moved around to the other side that's been slightly less stirred up. This one at the front has just got his whole face in there. Even smaller ones moving to the front. Adults are supervising from the back, then teenagers, and then those two little ones have moved right to the front there. Heidi Swiss, it is so cool to see this many elephants all at once. And they're also active as well. Starbuck, will members of different herds ever get confused as to which herd they belong to? Not really. It's not impossible, but they know who their family is in the same way that, you know, if a group of, I suppose if they're very, very young children, if a family group, you know, went for a barbecue or a braai or a picnic on the grass, and there was 15 of them sat there together, unless they're tiny babies that might get confused, you would know who you were there with. There's also lots of bonding within elephant herds. As I'm sure you've heard people say before, elephants are quite emotionally intelligent, in my opinion. They know where they belong. They know who their family is. Mercedes Bean Tower is one of your favourites. Mine too. There's always something happening. Wow, this is super busy. That is a large number of elephants. The other homework I had from yesterday, someone was asking about elephants stepping on thorns. And I did do some reading around it. It does happen. But remember their feet, although someone said yesterday they're sort of very crispy around the outside and softer on the underneath, they're definitely not human skin texture. And I've stepped on thorns before and they haven't quite gone in. I've stepped on thorns and they have gone in before. So if my pathetic foot skin can sometimes stop thorns, the elephants does too. It's not unheard of. I did read yesterday as well that they are able to take thorns out of their feet using their trunk. They would obviously have to be a bit protruding that they could get hold of. But I wouldn't see why not. I'm sure they could reach round to the soles of their feet with their trunk if they really needed to pull something out. But it's not unheard of. But I'm also surprised it doesn't happen more often. But it does happen if an elephant does get an infection or steps on a sort of more than a thorn, a piece of log or sharp stick. It can cause problems for them. It can make them lame. It can cause infection, necrosis of the skin, and ultimately an infection could kill them. But it would certainly be very uncomfortable. Penelope Kenyon, it must be a very hot day there. I'm not actually sure what the temperatures are up at Tower today. Let's check. It's around about 33 today here in the Lowveld, so it's warmer than it was yesterday. Let's check. My research suggests it's only about 29, so it doesn't look like it's super hot there, and they've certainly seen it much hotter there. But maybe it's a Sunday, so maybe all these elephants are just taking it nice and easy Sunday afternoon. This is their activities on a Sunday. And it could be as well that maybe some of these groups, they might move, well, they do move further away to feed, so they might not get here every day. Maybe if they move south away from the lodge to feed on different types of vegetation, they might only get here, they might use a different waterhole for water, but they might only get here sporadically. So if this group hasn't had an opportunity to do this for a couple of days, but that looks amazing. That big one's got a tiny patch on its forehead that it hasn't got mud on. Well, I think the Tau elephants froze a little bit there. So we have headed off to Nkoro Bush Lodge with some more elephants. Less muddy, but also enjoying the water. And you see how those elephants are drinking from the concrete bit, and they're obviously standing on the ground. Elephants do choose clean water over dirty water. We've seen many times where they will, if there's standing water in a drainage line, in a puddle or something, they will dig down to get clean water. And I've personally watched this many times at the famous dam I was talking about. There's an elephant at the back there, not on the other side of the pan, but the furthest back one of this group. It's got its bum to us now, but I wouldn't mind having another look. That elephant that's furthest away, bending down. If we can get in and have a look at that elephant. Just the one that's furthest away from us in this group at the front here. Is at that Clo Dam in Madikwe, and there is an inlet, an elephant's queue to get to that inlet. There's a whole dam, but they will queue to get to the inlet and stick their trunks up that inlet. That elephant that's now looking left at the back there, can we zoom in on that elephant's head a little bit? Be real, NZ. What an awesome sight indeed. Plenty of elephants. That one at the far back there. Dark Mane Lover. Hello, Dark Mane Lover. You can watch Ellie's all day. You love all of them. They are fabulous to watch. Be real, NZ. I'm guessing you are in New Zealand. If you are, welcome from New Zealand. I don't think this one is supposed to be standing in that concrete thing. I want to get another look at this one on the far. Oh, I can't quite see. Come on, you move out the way. Let's look. This elephant's missing its trunk. This is what I was trying to get a look at. This one on the far right is right in the water. And he's lost a good chunk of its trunk. There's a bottom in the way at the moment. Oh, excuse you. The one closest to the duck. So this is something we do see on occasion. And many elephants actually do just fine, surprisingly. But this trunk is missing at the tusks. So that is why this elephant is drinking the way it is. Putting its head right into the water there. And probably drinking through its mouth. Shame, little guy. But seems to be fine. I can't tell from here if this is a little male or a female. It is very, very young. I mean, I'm going to guess. I don't like guessing sexes and ages, but this elephant's probably maybe 4 or 5 or somewhere. But looks in good condition. Assuming it's there with his family. I'm not sure if we've seen this elephant on this camera before. If anyone MC can tell me if we've seen this little one before, I would be very interested to know. Or if anyone else that is watching has seen this elephant before. Oh, it looks so strange. Oh, that looks odd. What a shame. But no, it looks like the wound is healed. No idea what caused it. It could be a multitude of things, as we know. Could have been a snare, could have been an attack, could be a genetic deformity. But it looks fine. Oh, it just goes to show though how used to the image of an elephant that looks so bizarre. But no, he seems to be fine. He's obviously made it to elephant's tusks. We only start seeing elephant's tusks when they're 2 or 3 years old. So he's got little tusks. So over 2 or 3 years old, Oh, okay, Penelope. Thank you very much, Penelope. You have seen this baby before. I haven't, but hey, he seems fine. Animals are amazing, aren't they? They're just so adaptable. And that's not even a little bit of missing chunk. That's the whole chunk gone. Be Real NZ. How would they grab their food? With difficulty. But remember, when they do use their chunk to feed, it's just to transfer from trees to put into their mouth. So maybe he's just chomping on food straight off the bush, straight off the tree, just using his mouth. Although it would be quite difficult because they haven't got sort of biting teeth at the front of their mouths. All elephants' teeth are towards the back. So he would have to really get food in there. But he looks great. He looks in great condition. So he's obviously doing something right. Penelope, I'd be interested to see if you knew if this was indeed his family. I'm not sure if you've got a close log of... Because that interaction there almost looked like he was sort of shushed off a little bit by that elephant. I could be wrong. But he's not getting chased away now. But I'd be interested to see if this is his normal family that he's with. Look at the rotation. Look at those elephants coming in and those elephants going out. Maureen, no, his trunk will not grow back. He will be like this on a permanent basis. It's almost the same as if an elephant lost a leg or something. It's an appendage. So that won't be growing back, unfortunately. But there's many cases of elephants that have done absolutely fine with bits of missing trunk. It does make life a little bit... Oh, they're on their way out. It does make life a little bit trickier. See, there's also a couple of elephants with no tusks here. See this one in the middle of the screen? Looks like it's tuskless, and then I think I saw another one behind there, also tuskless. Tusks are often dependent on genetics. And they say that... Is that another one? Evolution might be evolving tuskless elephants. Because it must benefit them in some way if they're evolving, but tuskless elephants, because... I don't know why evolution would do that. I think tusks are very important, but also remember, Indian elephants, it's only the males that have tusks. So elephants don't need tusks to survive. But they do use them often. Digging, and males will use them for fighting, defense. I actually rewatched that clip of that elephant stabbing that giraffe the other day. It was quite upsetting. A bit unnecessary in my opinion. But so if they have tusks, they do use them, but they're not essential for survival, obviously, and nor are trunks, obviously. That little boy has got this far, and there's many elephants walking around with bits or parts of their trunks missing. So good luck, little trunkless boy. This looks like a male that's just arrived here. Possibly checking rather impolitely the status of these females. And again, gone straight to that cleaner water there in the middle. I can't see what birds are they in the water. Ducks, some sort of duck. They're hanging around quite close to where the elephants are, but maybe they're looking to feed on little thingies in the water that have been stirred up by those elephants drinking. Dark Mane Lover, you're wondering if the other elephants would treat the tuskless elephant any differently. Possibly. That's why I was curious as to whether or not he was indeed part of that standard family group. He'd probably be big enough, you know, he'd be... Oh, look at these. Are they geese? Are they Egyptian geese? I think they might... Oh, maybe they're Egyptian geese. Yeah, it looks like they're feeding on stuff that's been kicked up by the elephants drinking. Are they geese? I think they're Egyptian geese. It just feels weird that there's lots of them, but maybe it's a clutch of babies that has hatched and grown up together. We're more used to seeing... Oh yeah, they are Egyptian geese. Thank you for standing up. Yeah, I think maybe this is a family group. That's why there's so many of them together. Oh yeah, they look... I think they're youngsters. But Dark Mane Lover, possibly. We know that often we see animals, not always though. If there's a unique colouring or something, they might be treated differently by their family groups. But not always. We know the white lions, they integrate beautifully into prides. So possibly Dark Mane Lover, but possibly not. It could be nice and amicable and everyone just takes care of him. It depends often. Let's leave this, what I'm almost certain are Egyptian geese. Let's go over to Stony Point. I think we've got some dussies over there maybe. I like watching dussies. And leave our little chunkless boy to go about his day. Bless him. Ah, hello dussies. They're also having a snoozy Sunday. I'm gonna speak slightly less today, I hope, because I felt like I rambled rather a lot yesterday. And it's a nice lazy Sunday. I think these dussies are also agreeing. Dussies or rock hyrax. Having a nice snooze there on those rocks. I'm not sure what the temperatures are doing down at Stony Point today, but I would imagine it's considerably cooler than either here or indeed Tau. Look at those little chiefs. And it looks to me like they're sleeping next to a big pile of poop. So dussies do use latrines. They try and limit it to a single point. I'm not sure I'd want to be sitting next to the latrine, but what do I know? And it's believed that crystallized dusty urine can have medicinal properties. I'm not sure what medicinal properties it could have. Urine? I'm not sure what those would be believed to be, but this dusty has no interest in this. And look at those, they've got actually sharp little teeth there. They are technically vegetarian, but there was much deliberation not long ago. I remember about Dussies eating someone's eggs. The sharp little teeth were technically vegetarians. They're probably more likely to use these teeth as defence. They've got sharp incisors. Actually been sharpened almost sort of against each other, making them very, very sharp. Especially developed in some of the males, I think. Could be used for bark stripping. So they are obviously mammals, so they can regulate their own body temperatures, but if you can get a little bit of a snuggle off a neighbour, just to help save a bit of energy, especially if it's a cool breeze there on Sundays. I'd have thought if it's breezy they might have been tucked in a little bit more into those little crevices. Dussies have got little padded feet. Used for gripping on rocks. I know often I personally find the easiest way to spot Dussies is silhouetted bouncing around along the top of rocks there, but there's no bouncing happening here today. I actually met a friend this morning who's just got back from a trip to look for snow leopards, and they said insane spotting skills, finding snow leopards and possibly, was it an Eurasian lynx, I think she saw. And the spotters or trackers or guides, they were seeing these things from 2 kilometers away, and then using a scope to zero in on them. She said she's never seen spotting skills like it. Dussies are nice and chilled. These Dussies have actually they're double coated, so same as some, I know some breeds of dog also have double coats. They've got a double layer of fur to help with insulation, because while they are mammals and can regulate their body temperature, they're not very big, so that double layer of fur just helps with insulation, with a nice thick layer underneath next to the skin to trap air. And then a thinner, bristlier coat on top of that one. Oh yes, let's have a look at our penguin. Oh, there's another Dusty out and about, having a chomp on some whatever that is. Sunday snacks. Yeah, very relaxed with those people up on those steps. I suppose they're there all the time. Oh, as he runs away. This is exactly what my friend showed me this morning. Exactly the same topography that there was a snow leopard in, and they really blend into the rocks. But I don't think we're going to be finding any of those here. But there is a penguin. I think I can see. Is that an egg we can see at the bottom there? That white bit, or is it a? Is that just a bit of coat? Dark mane lava dusties remind me of beavers or big rats. They're cute. They are almost literally a combination of beavers and big rats. Or another animal that they remind me of a little bit is a capybara. Has anyone ever seen a capybara in the wild? I would love you to send me in your experiences if you have. I would very much like to see a capybara. I think they're the largest rodent in the world, I think. But Dussies remind me a little bit of miniature capybaras. But I can't work out if this penguin, this overhanging stuff in front of this nest is terribly inconvenient because the camera focuses on the stuff, and I can't work out if that little bit of white at the bottom there is a bit of penguin fluff, or if we've actually got a visual of that egg down there. We must keep a close eye on this penguin and see how long it's going to be before we get a little hatch going on there. Let's go across to Lantoro. I've been advised reliably that there may be some active terrapins there, so let's have a look and see who we've got at Lantoro. And I'm gonna maybe check. Oh, hi. What's going on here? Now, I have no idea what species of terrapins are found in Kenya. I find it difficult enough to identify terrapin species in my local area of operation. So I have no idea what type of terrapins these are. But they are indeed terrapins. That information was reliable. They look quite flat to me. I'm not sure if that would potentially assist with identification. But they are definitely terrapins. They are not tortoises. They are not turtles. So turtles live in the sea, so marine. Tortoises live predominantly on land. And then terrapins are freshwater. They used to be chelonians, but I think the taxonomic classification has changed again in recent years, and I don't recall what it's been changed to. But science rapidly expands, giving us different taxonomic groupings and classifications as we identify different features using DNA, similarities, differences in a lot of these animals. One of the reasons bird classifications change relatively Rapid. Oh, hello. I'm just trying to work out if this was maybe a male and a female here. It's a really low level angle, but I have no idea what species of terrapins are found. I know the terrapins in my normal area of operation are the marsh terrapins and the serrated hinged terrapins. I remember spending ages watching a waterhole once, and one of them has a more, and the way I learnt it was it had a very piggy looking nose. There is a shout for marsh terrapins here. Let's see if we can. So the marsh terrapins do have a flatter shell. I just don't remember ever seeing a terrapin out of the water and noticing how incredibly flat it was. But I know marsh and serrated hinged terrapins are common in this area. Maybe they're also widespread, spread up also in towards the Kenyan area. Hello, Egyptian goose. Look at that little brown goose photo ball. That's a lovely image of that Egyptian goose. You can see that little brood patch, that little brown mark on the front. That's going to be a brood patch that they wore. This it looks very curious. Is he going to chase the terrapin? So I can't remember which one. It's one of them. One of the two types of terrapins found in this area. They will hunt, and they have been known to take tiny little chicks of things. I remember having a very tense moment with a very small blacksmith's lapwing in a pan, or fiddling about by a pan, with a very large terrapin close by. So they are both omnivores, but I think one of them is more inclined to feed on chicks than the other. So maybe this Egyptian goose was remembering something there. Terrapins, my lasting memory of terrapins, I have told this story before, was I had some American guests, and there was a terrapin that was relatively far from a pan, and it was on quite a busy road. Oh, hello, welcome. Quite a busy road, and I said to everyone, terrapin, and they said, "Oh, we support the terrapins." It was either their football or their basketball team in the States. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to, as soon as you support the terrapins, and I am a bit worried about this terrapin being on this road, I said, I'm just going to move him off the road. And my tracker looked over his shoulder, and he shook his head, and he looked at me. I said, what? He said, do what you want. And I said, I have heard that, terrapins can be quite stinky, and they secrete a liquid, especially the marsh terrapins, will secrete a sort of something. It's some sort of liquid that's deeply unpleasant and smelly. And I said, I'm just gonna move this terrapin off the road. And my tracker just shook his head sadly. and got off the checker seat, and I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to get the hand wipes, the sanitizer." I said, "No, man." And he just shook his head, and I gently lifted this terrapin to move it off the road, and as I lifted this terrapin, it was it wasn't sort of I didn't get covered in a smelly fluid. I did not keep hold of the terrapin. I rapidly placed him very gently just off the side of the busy road. But it was a deeply unpleasant smell. I'm not going to lie. I very nearly vomited. And it took me probably 3 or 4 minutes to actually recover. And my tracker dutifully passed me the hand sanitizer and laughed quite hard at my misfortune. And it served me right. So I had heard that terrapins were a little bit on the stinky side. I can confirm this is absolutely correct. Try and find out what terrapins are found in Kenya. Okay, that's interesting. So it would seem in Kenya there are African helmeted turtles known as marsh terrapin or crocodile turtle, and the serrated hinge terrapin. So it does seem that they're the only 2 species found there. Huh. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure why they would be called turtles. That's interesting information. I wouldn't call them a turtle. But there we go. It seems like it's the same 2 species also found in Kenya, which would indeed place this as a marsh terrapin. Thank you for your assistance in this matter. I'm going to leave these upset geese having a good shout at something. I think let's go back over to Tao and see how we did have a huge group of elephants splashing in the mud there very recently. Let's see if they are done with their mudding and dusting. Oh, this one isn't. Nice little bit of an interaction going on here. Deb Davis, good for you for rescuing. It's Deb. It's such a tricky point about things like that. I've told that story before, and I would happily tell it again. It depends on the if you know if there's a risk to the animal, like near a busy road or something like that. And I honestly, and I'll say it live. If a busy tar road somewhere, I'm going to stop and move animals off it. I'm sorry, of small animals that I can move. Elephants, different story. Um, Ethical, I don't know, but I do it because I want to help. Um, so many things depend. You know, there's ethics and rules and things. Sometimes I agree with these rules and they're all there for a reason. But I knew the road and people drove badly on it, so I moved to Terrapin. And yes, I had heard, Deb, that they did smell, and I'll be honest, I had. This sounds really weird. I had sniffed a couple of terrapins out of the water because I'd heard they smelt, and I had sort of bent down and sort of tried to get a waft, or a waft, as some people might say, of these terrapins, and they just sort of smelt like a pond. But yeah, it was absolutely rancid. Deb, I can 100% agree that they do smell really bad. Wildlife lady, wonderful to see so many zebras. It is lovely to see so many zebras, and you can see where that disruptive coloration comes from, how all those, it's difficult if you sort of squint a tiny little bit, it's very difficult to pick out individuals in that big group of zebra. And it looks like these elephants are having a nice little interaction here. Again, lots of communication in this, lots of body language. They are, you know, there is physical contact here, but every move of a leg, every flap of an ear, every wave of a trunk is going to be communication in these two. And Gina, yes, it's so nice watching these interactions. I love just watching and trying to work out what is going on. I'm fairly sure this is two bulls, relatively small males. Just getting a little bit of practice for later years. There's definitely some argy-bargy going on with these two, so a little bit of pushing and shoving. And this is practice for when there's some real need to fight for. I mean, one of these elephants is obviously much smaller. And bizarrely I can hear a pearl-spotted owlet calling in the distance. I'm fairly sure, but that's odd. Not impossible, but that's strange this time of day. Linking those trunks. I mean, this looks mostly a size-based thing. If this bigger one pushed hard, got its weight behind him, the smaller one is gonna be pushed backwards. Come back here, we weren't finished. Welcome to anyone that has just joined us, anyone who's listening while they're making their Sunday lunch. Thank you for joining us. See, there's now this one just having a little bit of a feed. I throw my stick in your direction. This is very This is a companionable. Is that a word? Friendly. It's a very friendly little argument going on here. Roxanne, you're asking, do female elephants also engage in this kind of activity? Not as often. I've watched it more with males, but it's not unheard of. It's not necessarily so much. I mean, this is fun. I think for these elephants. Look, he's eating at the same time, and this is not a serious altercation. Not as much, Roxanne. But I've seen them interact before. Especially younger animals, but it's definitely more a male thing, I think. He's taken his lunch with him. See, if this was serious, there would be no food involved, or flight or fight responses. I can never which one. I think it's the sympathetic nervous system. They do limit things that are the body needs if it's in a really serious situation. And while he might be playing with that stick, as look at that, it's holding its tusk. That's cheating. Oh, although that was a little bit of a harder shove. This is like watching two 10, 12-year-old boys, isn't it? Rough and tumbling. So look, he's still putting stuff in his mouth. And they're also chewing while they're having a tussle. Nice view of those flowers in the background there that we did finally manage to get a ID for. Anyone that missed it, Verbacina enceloides or enceloides, depending on your pronunciation. Common names: golden crownbeard, cowpen daisy, goldweed, wild sunflower, butter daisy, crownbeard, American dogweed. Lots of common names. Those yellow flowers, not completely indigenous to this area, not officially classed as a nasty invasive, lots of antifungal, antibacterial properties. I believe used to be used to treat gum disease or gum infection. Adrian's asking, can animals be overweight? Yes, absolutely. Not normally wild animals. Captive animals, 100%. But wild animals, they don't normally get an opportunity. I'm just trying to think if I've ever seen a fat wild animal. Fat as in overweight permanently, as opposed to having a big round belly full of food. Adrian, I don't think I've ever seen an overweight wild animal. But captive animals, 100%. Even I like to. The smaller ones had enough. I'm out of here. I like to think I can tell if it's just a photo. I like to think I can often tell a captive lion from a free living lion. And Adrian, obviously we know our pets can often be overweight, and they often are. But wild animals? Not that I recall. Gina Biddle, you think it's so cool how they shake their heads at each other. As we were saying yesterday, so many animals communicate using body language. They don't use. He's gone back to. You gonna eat that or play with it? I'm gonna play with it. I'm gonna put it on my head. Is he gonna go and? Oh no, he's gonna eat it. I thought he was gonna go and smack him with that branch. It's gone. Where did that go? I love watching animals think. Kick it and throw it. This is a teenage boy. Kicking it, throwing it, eating it. Yes, Gina, absolutely brilliant the way they communicate that, and especially ears, tails, body postures, head shakes, chunk lifts, chunk throws. They don't have language the same as we do, but it's also really interesting to see the nuances of animal communication via body language. They're wrapping trunks. Dark Main Lover, I'm glad these young bulls are not really trying to hurt one another. It does seem like a friendly who's stronger than the other game. And interesting to see as well, I noticed those, they had a little break there. If we watch that, even sometimes in serious fights, I've watched male impalas do it before. They will fight, and then suddenly they stop, pause, have a little look around, see if they're going to get eaten. Gentleman's agreement to check for leopards, and then they carry on again. But these elephants, they just separated for quite a long time. They broke away from each other. They walked away, they had a break, and now they've come back to what they were doing. If you watch our dogs, if our dogs play, dogs will do a similar thing, hopefully, we hope. And individuals know, one of them will give signs and signals that they're ready for break, it's getting too much for them, and they will split. They will go off in separate directions. They'll pretend to be sniffing something for a little bit, or maybe they will sniff something for a little bit, and then they will come back together again. It's a sign of good, healthy, not overstimulated play styles, and we see it in these elephants doing exactly the same thing. Got a goosey goose sat there on the side of the water. Let's see how long it is before these two elephants. Oh, hello. This is going to throw that. I was going to say the cat amongst the pigeons, but the big elephant amongst the small elephants. That is a big bull. And it's not till you see that shot. Oh no, that. Oh. Oh, no, he's a bit big. Are they going to carry on? Huh, he didn't get involved in that at all, really. And these young males just carried on with their game. But again, time to take a break. It's getting time. No. That old boy wants none of their silliness. He's probably watching thinking, I remember when. But this is lovely watching these elephants interact like this. From these elephants, I think let's head across to Elephant Pan. See what activity we've got across there at Elephant Pan. He's still eating while he's trying. And we have some more elephants at Elephant Pan. Looks like they're doing some... What's going on here? That's what you would often see elephants doing if they were trying to loosen the soil or something around the bottom of a plant. And they're all doing the same thing. See, look, that elephant is kick, kick, kick. And then putting something in its mouth. I don't know what that elephant's doing. Could it be... Oh, now we're having a bath. I don't know if they were finding some sediment or something under there that they wanted. So eating soil to collect minerals or something. Can't imagine there'd be many plants under there. See, look, kick, kick, kick. I'm so glad you can't see my camera because my nose is on the screen here. It feels to me like it's sediment. Look, that little one's doing it as well. MC, has anyone else watched these elephants do this before? Or anyone that's listening? Because to me that looks like a feeding behaviour. And they could be kicking maybe some sort of aquatic plant? Or they're practicing geophagia or geophagy, soil eating. I don't know. That's all I can think of. I can't imagine there'd be plant material under that. I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening here, but that would be my logical conclusion. Renee, you're wondering whether a crocodile could have been responsible for the injury on the elephant with the short trunk. Possibly. There's the standard things that could cause it. A snare, an attack of some description, possibly from a crocodile, possibly from a hyena. I'm not sure. Possibly a crocodile. I have seen Actually, surprisingly infrequently. I've seen a couple of clips, I've never seen it in person, where a crocodile has grabbed a trunk, but it doesn't happen much. And it was very high, that injury on that elephant with no, and it had no trunk. It wasn't half a trunk, it was zero trunk, it was up level with its little tusks there. So possibly a crocodile, possibly a hyena. Could have been an injury, could have a wound that got necrotic and was a, sort of degenerated the flesh around the trunk. Yeah, it could have been a multitude of different things, and we'll possibly never know. Yeah, look, there's still a couple of elephants out. I think they're picking up soil or mud. There's a sediment under there they want, is my semi-educated guess with that. There might be aquatic plants under there that we don't know about, but there's not vast amounts of ground cover around the pound there. Oh, Bundu, thank you. You said, if you recall, Ben also tried to figure it out. The delightful Ben, to find out what they were eating in the same place, and he ended up discussing pods falling in roots. Maybe. He's normally pretty good at working things out, is Ben. But is there a tree above there that pods could fall into? And I'm not sure why. If they were eating soil, the mud under that particular. See, I can't see a tree above where they're kicking there. I think I'm going to go with minerals. But I can't see if they're picking anything up in there. Or they are picking something up, but I can't see what they're picking up. It could be pods, it could be some of the mud under there. But thank you, Bundu. I appreciate you letting me know. It must. I wonder if it's for people that listen regularly, the way we take it in turns to spend time with you here on Live at the Waterhole. I wonder if we come up with similar theories in a similar way for things, or we all guess at wildly different things. Raw, good day. Thank you for your contact. Looking at the elephants in a semicircle, elephant pan, it made me wonder if it was teaching lessons for the younger Ellies. Look at this. This is how you do it. Quite possibly. Animals do teach each other, both teach, educate, and animals will certainly pass skill sets on to younger family members. The way cats will try and educate youngsters to hunt, but no, that's a definite possibility. I agree with you completely. See, I can't see a tree over there that would drop pods in. We'll maybe never know. They are that other group is also that other group in the middle. They're under a tree, so that those ones I can't see how close they are to. Oh, it is that. Maybe that is a tree in the water. What trees are they? And there was another group further to the right that was also under a tree, which does point towards Ben's theory. Has anyone ever managed to identify what trees these are? My gut wants to say Mapani, but yeah, see, they're also under a tree there. Huh. Maybe Ben was right. He very often is. Yeah, that does make sense. I don't know how long ago that was, though. So they wouldn't have. No, but I wonder why they would be eating. Why would they bother eating pods from in the water? When, if all those trees are the same type of tree, there would be pods all over the place that would be considerably less effort to collect. Maybe they've been collected by something else. Birds or other antelope have scooped up the rest of the pods. Oh, Penelope, thank you very much. Ben and Amy discussed this. Mapani seeds pods. Okay, that would make sense. I was feeling that these trees were Mapani, and that would indeed make sense if they had washed down into the water. Okay. Brilliant. Save the day, Penelope Kenyon. Thank you very much. That does make sense. And maybe there's runoff. If there's been rain there, there's runoff from where all the other Mapanis are. Interesting. I don't know the topography particularly well of this particular area around Elephant Pan in Botswana. But those fairly short trees were giving me Mapani vibes. That would make a lot of sense. Mystery almost solved, but isn't it great though? Sometimes we don't solve the mysteries, which I also really enjoy as well. We will leave these elephants digging for probably Mapani seed pods in the water there, and let's head back over to Stony Point. We will see who we've got there. See if our dussies are still present. No dussies, but Pingu's still here. Still happily sitting on that nest. I'm not sure if there's one or two penguins in there. Got a gull there on the rocks. Where did our dussies go? Oh gosh. I'm trying to identify gulls. That looks like a herring gull to me. I spent a lot of time looking at gulls in New Zealand. And also the UK coastlines have got their fair share of gulls. So from what I understand, seagulls is sort of a generalisation, like maybe doves would be. And then, as with so many birds, there's lots of different types of gull. They're terns. Black-headed terns? I'm going to guess black-headed terns. My seabirds are not brilliant because I live next door to the Kruger Park, so have not had lots and lots of time identifying lots of seabirds. Let's see if a black-headed tern is a thing. No, it's not. Oh, there's... Oh, wow, there's... I don't know what terns they are. I'm sure they've been identified by people that have seen them. See that? Okay, yellow beak. Yellow beak. I'll tell you how many terns I've got. 1, 2, 3. I've got 22 different types of tern on my bird app. And yes, Ellie, the waves sound beautiful here. Right, so these terns have got black heads, yellow beaks. I don't think it's a West African tern because we're not in West Africa. Saunders tern? No. Crested tern? Great crested, could be a great crested tern. Elegant tern. I don't know what sort of terns these are. They do look like they've got a crest though, don't they? This is often how I bird. I think these might be great crested terns because the beak colour is right. I can't quite see their eyes nicely. It could be a lesser crested tern. Oh, I'm going to go great crested terns. They're definitely terns though. And nice to be able to see them sitting. Terns are often on the wing. These birds also enjoying the sound of the waves, I think, Ellie. There's a very well camouflaged cormorant there as well. Oh, thank you. They're swift terns. Jan, thank you so much. Swift terns. Wow, I didn't even see those on my list. Thank you very much, Jan. I'm now looking for those in my... I can't even see them on my birding list, so thank you very much. I think it is it's on the bucket list to head out to find some seabirds to add to the list. But unless you get them on these rocks like this with 22 species of tern, okay, you can eliminate quite a few because they're not found in a specific area. But I'm not the most patient person in the world, so working on these little brown birds or some of the others that are quite, you have to be quite patient to work your way through the list of identifying features. It can be quite tricky for me anyway. Was that an egret in there? That white bird? Is it right? Welcome anyone that's just joined us from the UK. Ah, Dussies. They're definitely Dussies. Excellent. Welcome back, Dussies. That is a very sleepy Dussie. And a very comfortable looking Dussie. And Dussies have got quite a unique stomach or digestive system. They've got a sac that's got a special bacteria in it that ferments or helps with the digestion of cellulose, and it joins onto a cecum. And their digestive system actually has a couple of features which are sometimes found in birds, apparently. The cecum is involved in making fatty acids that add an additional energy source, because these no, too much. That made me laugh. That's like, come on, give us the colour. No, get off, stop touching me. I was going to say using up energy resources, but if you can steal your energy from the heat of another, why not? And that's why not. It's now a very dejected Dussie. Dejected, go find them. And both sleeping in a big pile of poop there. They are, someone said earlier they look like a cross between, what was it, beavers and something else. They are funny looking animals. As many people know, they are believed. I'm always a bit dubious about mentioning too much about taxonomy and things like that these days, because it changes so often. One week something could be one of something's family, and then the next week they're now considered part of something else's family, so I normally try and keep a bit quiet. But it is believed these Dussies did share a common ancestor with elephants more than 60 million years ago, so way back in the annals of time. Foot structure and teeth structure in Dussies and elephants are known to be fairly similar. I think this is probably a little egret, but I can't quite see its feet. I'd like to see his yellow feet to be sure. But I see there's also a western reef heron with that black beak and yellow feet. That made me laugh that one Dusty wanted to snuggle. The other one said no. Oh, he looks really cross. They've got very soft cushioned feet to help them climb those rocks there. Often using these latrines or middens or whatever you want to call a pile of poop. Some more gulls. I would love to tell you more about this seaweed, but I'm not entirely sure what seaweed it is. But I do know seaweed does have lots of very nutritious properties. Lots of things will utilise seaweed. Very healthy for humans as well, apparently. So, now, look, actually, that's a really nice. Look at that little foot of that Dussie. Look at his little toes. You can see. I think there's 3 toes on that back foot, and I think they've got 4 on the front. I can't see a front foot. Is that a front foot there? And that's a nice demonstration. I think, if I'm correct, elephants have the 4 toe nails in front and then the 3 at the back. So that's how similar Dussie's feet are to elephants. Go and show us your front feet, little thing. So once again, anyone that's joining us for Sunday lunch from England, a very happy Mother's Day to you all. Mothers out there, not just those from England. Oh, let's see if a little bit tricky to count the toes there, but I know their tracks, and also dental structure. Not dissimilar to that of the elephant. But it's the same as the discussions around giraffes or zebra, and as I mentioned the other day, fascinating talk around the speciation or species diversity of black rhino. But science is changing so quickly, we're finding slight differences or similarities in animals that we never thought. Oh, there we go. They look. Is that a front foot? Similarities or differences in animals that we never knew about before. And taxonomy is racing through and changing all the time. So there is our they're very cushioned. Look how soft and padded they are. Well, these dusty feet. I know that is a back foot. I think let's leave these dussies having a good scratch here, having a nice Sunday sabbatical, and head back across to Tau. And there was a yellow-crowned bishop. He's gone. It is definitely a he, and it was definitely a yellow-crowned bishop. There's a lot of these reeds and grasses at the side of this waterhole closest to the lodge. This is a lot of grassland or grasses. I've never seen so much here at Tau. Possibly related to the huge rains they had not too long ago. Is normally found in sort of wetland, grassland, cropland areas. I think I've most commonly seen all of the bishops in or around or close to water. Could be feeding on the seeds straight from these grasses here in the pan here at Tau. These bishops are very busy here in these reeds. Let's go across to Aldonio. We'll see who we have got there. Maybe birds, maybe elephants. Let's go and find out. Ah, we've got some giraffes. It's like almost definitely 2 males, I think. I can't quite see the third. I think probably all 3 of these are boys. Jen Mac, the weekend's not complete until we see the Dussies. Ah, no, I agree, Jen. They are. I think from my Dussie viewing. Oh, there's baboons through the back there as well. My Dussie viewing of. I think that's been my favourite point. So I enjoyed watching those two young bulls tussle. But my favourite bit was that Dussie went to hug the other Dussie, and the other Dussie went no. That tickled me a little bit. And the other thing I've taken away from those Dussies is they look quite cross. I don't know if they are cross, but the Dussies I saw today look a little bit angry for some reason. Wildlife Lady, I'm glad you have enjoyed today's live at the waterhole. Thanks, Kelly. It's an absolute pleasure. FCs and Zoomies. It's our pleasure, Wildlife Lady. We're really glad you could join us too. that was a late flick, boy. Oh, let's see if we can find my giraffe I identified yesterday. Not that one. I don't think. I worked out that one of them. On our right, or the giraffe's left front leg at the top, just before it got to its stomach, was a very clear triangle that I identified yesterday. Oh, no. Something made him jump. And you see how stiff that giraffe's tail was? That was an upset giraffe. That would have been a clear sign, if I was another giraffe, that giraffe was not happy. Or not relaxed, shall we say. Not necessarily not happy, but not relaxed. Something other than relaxed. Possibly fearful, possibly excited, possibly curious. And there are all the other things you need to practice reading in the behaviour of so many different animals. And each species is also very different. I have purposely given everyone a little bit more quiet time today. You can hear the flies in the background here. My other piece of homework I have not handed in was the sexual split or demographic of the Tembe Elephant Park elephants, because I don't know. I have tried to find out population demographics, and I have failed, so I don't know. But we did actually see we saw a family group there yesterday, I think, if I remember correctly. So there's definitely females there. Oh, hello, Big Baboon. Also coming in for a drink. So I think this is looking at that baboon, I think it's probably an olive baboon. Certainly not the same as our chacmas, but I think there's also a yellow baboon in Kenya. I did see olive baboons in Rwanda, and I was absolutely gobsmacked at how massive they are. So there are indeed olive and yellow baboons found in Kenya. Most common of the two species of baboons in Kenya there. Adult males can get up to about 38 kilograms, which is a large baboon, and definitely got very thick, fluffy fur. Lots of fur, which probably also add to the sheer size of them. That's a nice image of those two opposing giraffes. This one at the back isn't the one I identified yesterday. I think we're going to need to log maybe more than one giraffe I can identify here. Because it seems to me we do often have giraffe at this fabulous little pan here in Aldonia in Kenya. Victor, would other animals come to drink with these two here? Possibly. That baboon just popped in for a quick drink. Possibly. Giraffe aren't known to be super possessive or aggressive, particularly over water, so unlike elephants. So Victor, they possibly would. As that baboon just proved. But we are almost out of time for today. Thank you all for spending your Sunday afternoon or evening or morning, depending where you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. I will be back again tomorrow with more fun attempts to identify terns. And I'm looking forward to you all joining me tomorrow and sending through your questions and comments. Enjoy your Sunday.